Hey guys, it's Carter. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic day today. Now in today's video, we're going to be looking at trend lines. Probably one of the most commonly used phrases I'm sure you've heard on YouTube, TikTok, or honestly just doing your own research for trading is trend lines. So we're going to be talking about how I use them, a position that we're in on, how I got in, the strategy, the entry, everything honestly you guys need to become a trendline trader. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Smash that like button and subscribe. But if you guys want to learn more about trading, check out our school. It's awesome. It's called the Swing Trading Masterclass. We got private live streams, quizzes, lectures, a group chat. It's like a college class with the final exam. It's everything you need to honestly become a trader. So check it out. And you guys can get 51% off by using code TRADER. So you might as well check it out. And let's have a quick word from our sponsor of today's video, which is Moomoo, which is the broker that I've been actually using for the past 7 years before they sponsored me. I know a lot of you are just getting started with investing, and one app that I've been using is called Moomoo. It's super beginner friendly, but still gives you pro level tools like live market data, easy to read charts, and news all in one place. And the best part, new users can get up to 60 free stocks when you open up an account with qualifying deposit. And honestly, that's actually why I tried it. And I've been using it ever since. Check out the link down below if you guys are curious. Now, Moomoo, in my opinion, is fantastic. So click that link, sign up. I'll see you guys in there, and let's dive into this. So the first thing that you guys actually need in order to become a trendline trader is a broker that offers good charting. Now, even if you don't use a broker that offers charting, they do have some free websites like TradingView that you guys can use to actually use for, charting. But in my opinion, I think it's better to just have your broker and charting all in one place, so you're not like actively clicking between your broker, your charts, and it's just better to keep everything all in one place. So, I use Moomoo. There's a lot of good options out there, but Moomoo is, in my opinion, is probably the best. But let's kind of pull up Moomoo and kind of show you guys how I trade and the strategy and the approach I use here with trendline. So with this stock OGS, this is the stock here that we recently took a position with. And looking at it, it honestly looks very simple, right? I'm sure it might look simple for you or overwhelming. So let's start from scratch. So we're on the daily candlestick. So each of these red and green candles represent 1 day of trading. So you have the high, the low, the open, and the close. It represents about 4 pieces of information. So you guys can see this candlestick right here. We had the low, we had the high, we had this where it probably was trading more often in that little wiggle room, and then we have the open, and then we have the close there. So I love candles. Some of you may, like line charts or whatever charting, you use, but candles is by far the best for trading because it represents just more information that you can use and dissect for your charts. So for me, in order for a trend line to occur, we want a minimum of 3 touches of buying pressure or selling pressure, because you can have an upward trend line that offers a lot of support. So support is just where you get a lot of buying pressure. And you also can have a trendline resistance, which is just the opposite, where you could get a lot of selling pressure. So you guys can see here, we have this line right here that we'll change the color. We'll make it blue so you can see it a little clearer. And it hits this point several times, and it establishes buying pressure. So it hits it, we have buying pressure, recently hit it, buying pressure, hit it again, buying pressure, hit it again, buying pressure. You can see, since we use those candles, that it has hit it right here. And what happened? We have that good buying pressure. Right in here, we have buying pressure, almost hits it again in here, and we have a good move. And then right in here, right, you can see just the several times where it hits it, buying pressure, buying pressure. So we have a bunch of support here on that blue line, right? So ideally, in a perfect world with trading, you just want to buy it on the support. Yes and no at the same time. You want to use other indicators and time frames to determine your entry point, because the last thing you want to do is buy this stock on this trend line and then have it continue to sell off more and more and more. And the next thing you know, you lost money, because I'm sure if we look back at previous history, that I'm sure it's broken down through some trend lines like in here, right? where you guys can see that it was hitting this trend right here, and it got a lot of buying pressure, but we had that good breakdown where it didn't, and you would have lost money on the trade. So you want to look at other things that we'll show you guys here in a second. And the first thing that I always pull up is actually going to be the moving average lines. Moving average lines honestly just help give more indication of support and resistance because they act as support and resistance, right? If we remove these, you guys can see that it was pretty much hitting this red line, which is the 200-day EMA line. And each and every time it hit that, we had a bunch of buying pressure there. So moving average lines are very similar to trend lines. They do act as support and resistance. So it's good to look at both of them to help and see, okay, we have a trend line and a moving average line, which could act as more confirmation of support. So you guys can see it hits it, buying pressure, buying pressure, buying pressure, buying pressure. So it does have both, which is really, really good. So another thing that you want to do is look for some sort of breakout or some sort of other indicators. So what I actually will do first is pull up some other indicators. One of the indicators I will use often is going to be called the RSI, which stands for the Relative Strength Index. In simple terms, this pretty much tracks momentum and it'll help you get in actually at a good undervalued point. So historically with the RSI, anything under a 40 is more of an undervalued point to buy. Anything over a 60 is more of an overvalued point to sell. So you guys can see here where it was hitting that, trend line and moving average line. It was trading for a 36. So it's definitely underneath that 40 mark, which the last time it was trading for a 40 or a 36 was back in this range. And we saw a good little pop up here. Previous to that was in here. So we knew we could get some buying pressure out of this play. So after we look at the RSI, the next thing I look at is some sort of lower time frame, because we're looking at the daily. So we want to go lower. So you can look at the hourly or the 4-hour mark. Both are good, but I definitely think that the 1 hour for me works better, right? Some of you may like the 4-hour time frame, which does work well, but I just think the hour for me works better. So you guys can see that we had just that general downward trend line, right? Where it hit that red line now, and we got sell-off. And you're probably wondering, well, Carter, how when we had the upward trend line? It's very simple because now we're looking at a smaller time frame. And we're looking at a couple, about 2 or 3 weeks instead of a couple of, years, really. Because when you look at the daily, this is, each of these lines right here represent a month. So we have several months right there, probably over a year actually. So going to that hourly now, each of these represent a day. And so you could see it just hit it. We had sell off, sell off, sell off, sell off. And you're probably wondering, well, Carter, when do you get in to buy the trade? So you set an alert, or at least I like to set an alert above this trend line, right? So if it pops up, then you could enter with a strategy called a breakout trend line strategy. So it breaks out here, forms that new white trend line. We can remove this, right? Forms that new trend line. So now we're continuing to hold this position as it goes up and up and up and up. And we had a beautiful squeeze up today, about 1%. So if it dips down now, we're going to move our stop loss a little up. If it dips down below 74, we're going to just get out of this trade. And you're probably wondering, well, Carter, where did you get in? Well, if we draw this out again, you can see a nice entry point at about $72. And that's exactly where we got in. So you also want to look at other indicators, right? Like the MACD, the RSI on these lower time frames to help you get in and understand your entry point. But you guys can see here with the MACD is probably one of the best entry point indicators you can use, because we had that orange line right here break up through that blue line, which historically represents a good entry point, especially when you have all the other conditions like an upward trend on the daily, support, breakouts, all of that, all in one place here. And now as it continues to rally its way up, it's performing very, very well. So this is the simple strategy you guys can use to start making money, whether you're a beginner or maybe you're new to trading. But the biggest thing, guys, is focus on education. We broke this down relatively easy, but I'm sure during the real time of trading, you may seem overwhelmed or confused. And that's why you need to focus on education and paper trading and practice before you fund an account. So if you're watching this video, there's two things you guys should do. One is open up a Moomoo account and start paper trading. Practice with simulated money so you can become confident, and then you can start small and try to grow that account. The second thing you guys should be doing is to have and be around like-minded individuals. That's why I love our school. It's fantastic and it's very affordable for people that are just getting started with trading. So sign up, check it out down below, code TRADER for 51% off, and I'll see you guys in there. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Like, follow, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.